that's a big one, but I believe that they do have a discount. Metal Supermarket, got several locations on that. You got hit or miss on what you'll find on walking in, but you can call in an order. Pacific Industrial, for those in the Seattle area as well. You also have odds and ends there. If you stick to your common aluminums, common stainlesses, metals, chances are you'll find a decent selection there. It's only when you get into some of the unusual things that you're going to have to order in advance. Extruded Supplies, Integrated Pacific Handling, and Warden Fluid Dynamics. These guys are down in Tacoma. The other are in the Seattle area. Okay, any questions on metals? Plastics. There's a plethora of different plastics out there. Acetal is available in a bunch of different shapes. You can do some machining with it. Acrylic is available in sheets. You have a number of these that are coil tubes that you'll be using for pneumatics, and a lot of that will come in your kits when you receive your kits. I'll tell you, I'd stay away from the acrylic. Stick with the polycarbonate if you're using sheets. It's going to give you good strength. Use it for things like guards, protection. You can still see through it, however, it keeps foreign object debris or FOD out of your components. It helps protect your circuits, keeps people from running into transducers or knocking off wiring or breaking anything. So it's a good source for just protecting your robot. Okay? Teflon, you can buy that in plate, rounds, or sheets. If you need something that's decent for reduce your friction for sliding, you can get Teflon sheets, put it on, it'll give you low resistance for sliding motion. Tygon, coil tube, etc. All of this is coming off the online metals source, so you can go to there and they'll go into more detail on many of these. So in the Seattle surrounding area, you got 4 suppliers that I'm familiar with: Interstate Plastics, Laird, TAP, and Keltec. So here's the information for where to find them. Let's see, doing okay. Here's TAP Plastic, they're in Bellevue, Seattle, and Linwood. Keltec, I haven't gone to Keltec, but I understand from a price perspective they're very good, and so. Okay, that covers materials. Questions out there? Things that I went through way too fast? Motion and movement. We're going to kind of walk through each of these: drive shafts and collars, gears, timing belts, chains, sprockets, bearings, bushings, lead screws, motors, gearboxes, wheels, pneumatics, and some miscellaneous hardware. Okay, drive shaft. When you're buying drive shafts, go to somebody like MasterCar or somebody like that and buy your drive shaft. Don't just go to a Home Depot and buy a round stock. You're going to get a harder drive shaft. You're going to get a more precision. You can buy it in an undersized diameter. My daughter in the back of the room, first year, we bought it at a nominal size, and she spent a whole day on a lathe sanding it down so she could get it on bearings because it just would not go. Buy it 5/1000ths undersized, and so you can get it on there and get it positioned. If you want keyed shaft, buy it as a keyed shaft. Everybody familiar with what I mean by a keyed shaft? It's got a cutout in it, like that. You put a keyway in it, and then your gear comes around so that you've got a positive way of engaging it for to carry torque out to your gears, to your wheels, or from your motors. So if you've got a live shaft where you need to have it keyed, buy it that way. You can buy it through McMaster-Carr pre-keyed. If you're transmitting high torque, use a hardened steel for that. So if you're using a drive shaft like that, most likely you're going to have some type of a collar that's on there for retaining your gear in position, your wheels on it, etc. Stick with the split shaft collars. Those, when you tighten them down, they grip around the shaft as opposed to some of them that are just a annular ring that has a set screw that comes down. What happens when you tighten up that set screw, you're marring your shaft, and if you want to take that off, now you've got this mar on it that makes it very difficult to take the collar off, difficult to take the gear off of it, and it doesn't have the best holding capacity. So use the split shaft. Key stock, you're going to find a large selection of sizes of key stock, but if you want something more than just the standard size, like 1/8 of an inch, you'll find those types of things at many different stores. But if you want a less common, order it. McMaster-Carr again, or MSC, or any number of Tacoma screw carries it. But order it in advance. Beware your sim motor, your output shaft on the sim, which is used for most of your motor drives, for your drivetrain. That's a metric keyway. So if you're broaching a gear to interface with that, you probably ought to take a look at what the size of that keyway is and get a broach that size. Otherwise, you're in a position of trying to machine, and I've done this, machine the keyway down so you've got, let's say, an 1/8 inch keyway on the gear, and you have to machine it down to interface with the sim gear, or the sim output shaft. Big pain, very difficult to do. Just recognize it and get a broach the right size there. Gears. Gears can be a lecture all by itself. I can't go into the level of detail that will do gears justice. The most likely type of gear you're going to use is a spur gear or a worm gear. Spur gears are used, they're great for gearboxes. Spur gear is most common that you're seeing, and it has an interfacing gear or intermeshing gear. So it's great in gearboxes. It also is great for reversing direction on something. If your output shaft is going that way, your interfacing gear is going to go the opposite. So there's some strength in the design there and using its capability. Worm gears, for those not familiar with it, you've got it's a gear that kind of looks like a. Come on in, guys.
Sorry, we had everything mixed up and all stumbled around.
Just join in. So you've got a shaft with the worm gear on it. It's rotating, interfacing with the spur gear, intermeshing there. Worm gears are great for a high reduction in speed. The other real strength in it is it doesn't back drive. So if you need something that's holding it without the motor having to hold it into position, a worm gear is a great way to go for that. As you're selecting them, pay attention to the pitch and pressure angle. Pitch and pressure angle define the gear teeth structure. So you need to make sure that foremost that your mating parts have the same pitch and pressure angle, and you selected a pitch and pressure angle that's right for your application. You don't want something that's a watch gear pitch if you've got high torque on it.